Yo, what's happening, good people? Trying something a little different, man. Decided I'm gonna stand up for this one. Just want to get straight into it, man. I want to talk about, do you know yourself? This is something that is supremely important for every person, every man especially, to know is yourself. Before you even begin to know anything else in the world, man, number one thing you got to know is yourself. Because everything in your life starts with you, obviously. So you'd be surprised as to how many people in this world don't know themselves. It's quite sad, actually. And it's the reason that the powers that be control things in the way that they do. You know, there's a vast amount of people that just go with the flow and are left with whatever scraps the world gives them. There's no ambition, there's no drive, there's no goals. And this is exactly where the world wants you. They want you as another cog in the machine to just be able to do the bare minimum of pushing buttons. And they want to insert you into their system. And it's just like, man, this is not what you're meant to do, man. Let me say, man, knowing yourself is so critical because this enables you to fully have control over your life. And this is what the powers that be, they don't want that. And I got to tell you, man, it's a journey. It's a journey, man. And I'm relatively young still, but I'm always learning myself as I go along. But I got to tell you, man, in the past 10 to 20 years of my life, is just every decade you should be having such a dramatic upgrade of knowledge of yourself, to the point where you look back 10 years prior and you laugh because that person is just not the same guy that you were, or girl. It's not the same. It shouldn't be. Sadly, there's a lot of people that look back on their life and they're the same person that they were 10 years ago, which is a complete waste of time. A lot of people say evolve. You got to evolve over time. But really, that's not the right word you should use in this context. The right word you should use is develop. You have to develop yourself over time, because evolving, this term implies no intent. This implies an automatic growth over your period of life. But that's not how the universe works. There's a law in physics that I can't pull off the top of my head, or thermodynamics, I believe, that states that anything left unto itself leads to more and more destruction. Which means that if you are not intentional about growth, if you're not being intentional about improvement, getting better, if you don't have goals and things to aspire to and things you want to accomplish, you're just going to be stuck, and actually you're going to be worse off. Because let's face it, guys, time is ticking. Every second you're getting older. And with age comes wisdom, hopefully, but also you get a little bit of decay over time. Now, it's not, the decay is not as serious in the short term, but in the long term, you can start to see it with the graying of hairs and the wrinkles and the fragility of your bones and etc. So this should be a reminder that you should be improving in every aspect of your life because the clock is ticking. So I wanted to get on here today and just really hammer it home for you guys, man, and get it together to really know yourself. Because once you know yourself, man, the rest of the world takes care of you. Everything else takes care of itself, because if you know yourself, you know what you should be doing. And if you know what you should be doing, then you're adding some sort of value to the world in some capacity, if you really know yourself. Because believe it or not, man, God has given us all a gift that's different in every single way. We don't all have the same gifts, but we all have a gift that's an aspect of the Most High. And it's our job to bring that out and use it and give it to the world, to give our gifts to the world, man. There's no point in having a gift to give to the world. You are blessed and fortunate enough to have something to give, and you never give it. What's the point of that? What's the point of having a gift to give to your kids for Christmas and you never give it to them? Can you imagine? Like, you have this gift for your kids, and you bought it for them. You went out your way to spend your money to get this gift that you know they'll love. And yet, here and still, you decide, you know what? I'm just going to leave that gift in the attic, let it collect dust, and they'll never get it. What a sad situation that is, right? It's the same thing with our gifts that we've been blessed with in this world, man. If you go to any cemetery, man, there's a grave full of people that died without giving their gifts to the world. Can you imagine how sad that is, man? And go your whole life, you got these gifts, you got these things you want to bring to the world, and you let the thoughts of your head, these negative thoughts in your head, get to you and not give these gifts out. Right? It's a shame, man. And I really want to say, man, we got to do better. We got to know ourselves, because if we know ourselves, man, that doesn't happen. Once we know ourselves and we're comfortable with who we are, we have no problem showing that person off. That is us to the world. It's funny, man. A lot of cats are on these looking at YouTube for dating advice and stuff. A lot of men want answers to how to get a woman and how to deal with women and in relationships and how to pick a woman. And I get it. There's a lot of questions we have and answers we're looking for. But if we're honest, man, if you know yourself, you wouldn't even have to ask that. Jay Sean, what up, baby? Man, out of Vegas, man. Just out here venting, bro. Just talking about knowledge of self and the fact that a lot of people don't use their gifts, wasting a whole lifetime of not using their gifts, man, bringing it to the world. And it's a shame. I'm just thinking of like a whole cemetery full of people that just never brought their gifts to the world, and it was a waste of a life, But I was, anyways, talking about, knowing yourself, man. It's the most important knowledge, the most important education that you can have. Forget universities and all this stuff, man. All that stuff is what they want you to learn. But I'm telling you, man, if you know yourself, everything else takes care of itself. Like I mentioned before with dating, a lot of dudes got questions about dating and how to talk to women and what kind of woman to look for. But if you know yourself, you don't even have to ask that question. You should just ask yourself that question. Like, what kind of woman do I like? How do I want to talk to women? How do I want to approach them in my own unique way to show them my unique flair? And that's what I respect about the pimping, man. Because the pimping is so interesting because a lot of, if you study it, man, pimps are all different, but they all got similarities, right? They all got their own flair in their own way that ties back to the game or the ism. But each one is individual in every unique manner, right? Like I think of Rosebud Bitter Dose, man. He's kind of aggressive, like he snappy attitude, kind of almost mean in a way, mean cop he plays. And I respect it. He don't take no bullshit. And then I think of Andre Taylor, man, Gorgeous Dre. He's more sophisticated, smooth, more educated type of player. Speaks with, speaks all eloquently, doesn't curse and all that stuff. But they're both part of the game. They both got that ism, but it's different, very unique to who they are. And that's why I look at it in my perspective. You got to ask always, like, how do I do this? How do I run things? If a woman's coming to my stable, how do I want to operate with in my realm? You feel me? You got some bad ones out there in Vegas. You talking about Rosebud or Dre? Because I know Rosebud lives in Vegas. I gotta go visit. The OG, man, in person, man. He done gave me a lot of game. But speaking of Vegas, man, I love Vegas, man. I gotta get out there. And okay, Dre. Yeah, Dre got him out there. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. He's married though. Yeah. Oh, he had some bad ones. Yeah, he had, in the past tense. Yeah, he been married now for a minute. But yeah, he had a serious stable, man. Legendary player. Or I can't even call them players, man. They think it's disrespectful and shit. The OGs, they want you to call them. I don't even know. They don't want you to call them players. I don't know why, but that's some, new school, old school shit. But anyways, man, this is why I say, man, you can't be afraid to be yourself. A lot of people are afraid to be themselves because they're scared it might scare people away. I see this with women. I see this with dudes. I see this with everybody. People scared to be their full self. I remember like some of my best relationships were the best because I just let the woman be herself and I encouraged her to be her full self. I don't want her to hold back pretending and none of this. I don't want her trying to sit there and do these certain things to impress me. Nah, baby, be you, because I'm gonna be me fully, 1000%. And it was my favorite relationship, man. Fresh out of high school, man, just naturally just blossomed. And I'm sure she still thinks about me to this day. Shorty is still in contact with my sister. She talking to my sister on a regular basis. I'm like, that's kind of weird, but hey, y'all cool? Fuck it. Do what y'all do. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But that just goes to show you, man, I was just my pure self. I didn't have any clutter about trying to be a certain way. I was just me 1000%. She was her all the way. And it just was a beautiful thing. And that's another thing, man, as far as dealing with relationships. You want to leave your mark. You want to be what I call the Hall of Fame of her life, man. You want to have your name up in the rafters of the men she's dealt with, Even if y'all don't work out, shit, she still got that respect for you. I always got to have my respect regardless, with or without her. No matter what, my respect gonna be with her regardless, So make sure that you don't get tied up in having the woman without having her respect. Because there's plenty of dudes out here that are married to a woman for decades, and she don't respect the dude. She's just waiting on y'all to divorce and just wreck his whole life because she don't have no respect for dude. man, you got to have some kind of order, man. You got to have that masculine discipline to yourself. Speaking of which, man, I want to recommend this book to y'all, man. Let me see. I got it right here. Yeah, Awakening the Master Masculine. This book right here, man. I know the cover looks kind of corny on some look like a fairy or something. But it's some real game in this book by Yao Nyamiki Morris. It's actually a black dude, brother, older gentleman. Sound like he's Asian, but he's like this guy who uh I forget. He's like, let's say, like a yogi in a way. He goes into tantric sex and how to, heal people with different practices. I forget the name of it, but he's a really smart guy with a lot of good game. But in this book, he breaks down the four archetypes for men, and women also have four archetypes. But as far as men, we got our four archetypes that we have to make sure we master each of these to become our best self as a man, right? Just to put it in a nutshell, the four archetypes for a man are the eagle, you got the healer, you got the warrior, and you got the hunter, right? So to kind of keep it in a nutshell, the hunter you can get is like, think hunter gatherer. You going out here in the world, you working, you getting money to bring back the food, the goods back to your family. That's kind of natural with most men. Most men got that archetype down packed. Then you got the warrior, right? These are pretty self-explanatory. The warrior is that protective energy that you have in you naturally as a man to protect your family, to protect your loved ones from imminent danger. We just have that instinct naturally in us, most of us. That's why we play sports. That's why, we work out. We stay in shape to stay ready as a warrior, right? Third, you have what is the healer, right? Now, this is probably the one that most people don't have. Myself, I got to work on this one too. And I think you get this with age. As you get older as a man, you kind of focus on your healing energy as far as, that's why we look up to OGs, older guys. They're giving game to us because they done lived life. Now they're in a way they're healing us. Same thing with women, with how we deal with women. We heal our women because they done been through some shit, and we can see the bullshit. We try to heal them up, give them knowledge, make sure that we take care of them. That's the healer energy. And that's something that a lot of us lack. We got to work on that archetype. And lastly, I think the most important is, he always also says, is the most important archetype is the eagle. The eagle is something that's also key. And all of these are like kind of special powers for men in our masculine fulfillment when we are fulfilled as men. But the eagle is that natural, innate ability as a man to have foresight, to be able to see ahead, to see shit coming, to think ahead of 10 steps ahead of whatever you're about to do. You have plans. You about to go do something big. You got big ambitions. Maybe you're about to go take your girl out to this little event. You're thinking about all the things that could go wrong, the things that could go right. You're just being aware of the path ahead of you. And this is something that is the most crucial because this has to do with your future and the things that are going on in your life and your life's path. So you got to make sure that your eagle is on point as well. All of these need to be on point, but that one is the most important. I think he mentions, but it's a great book, man. I recommend all you guys check it out. And in fact, you can only get it on his website. What is Grand Trine int.com or masteryao.com. Y'all can read that. Y'all can go check out his book, man. Go check it out. I read this a few times, man. It's some really deep stuff that explains a lot of what's going on with this world today. And like I said, he has the female's version of it. I got to read that one too, but I'm a man, so I got to focus on the man shit first, right? So, but I say all that to say, man, this is all a part of self knowledge and discovery of who you are, man. Because, man, today, man, there's an explosion of masculine content of dudes trying to learn how to, you know, bring out their inner manhood, man. Because there's a lack of that today. Because in this society, I'm sure you guys know, everything's like female oriented and female focused. And it's hard as a man, ever since the Me Too movement and all this other stuff, it's like women are getting, feminism is taking over, and women want power, and they want equal rights. And to an extent, a lot of that stuff makes sense. Men been dominating for centuries. We've been in charge, taking over, starting civilizations, going to war, taking over lands, and telling women what they can and can't do, writing Bibles and stuff. And like, hey, if you're a woman, you got to do this. And I get it. I truly get it. We all get it. But now it's kind of like the pendulum is swinging so far to that side of women dominance that even women are starting to notice that this shit's getting kind of crazy. And, this all is kind of new. This is all some new stuff where women are getting all these rights and starting to go crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So not to say that they can't have rights, but we as men, we got to know, hey, I'm still a man. At the end of the day, baby, hey, have your rights. But don't forget, I'm a man. I got blood pumping in my veins. You know what I'm saying? I'm attracted to you. And that's where men get cut off. These new 21st century men are getting cut off with who they really supposed to be. That's why I mess with Rosebud, man. He has a lot of good stuff that has made me think about. You ever think of like when you were in middle school? I know it was for me, but like in middle school, man, I remember it was just natural for boys and girls. We'd be meeting at like the youth center. It was called the YS back then. And we'd meet up and we just like naturally be flirting and, being, I'm a boy and she's a girl. And sometimes we fuck around. We go outside of the little, this little jungle gym we had, and it'd be dark outside. The managers are not really looking, and we just do shit. We just, feel on her booty a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Do a little make out here and there. You know what I'm saying? Just being boys and girls naturally. And I feel like now that's kind of like going away a bit, where dudes are forgetting how to be dudes, and they're forgetting that young manhood, where you got a chick and y'all hanging out, she's sitting on your lap, and you just pull her shirt, looking at her little titties for a second, little shit, just being a dude, just curious. Hey, I want to see what's up, And I feel like a lot of men now are kind of scared to be how they naturally are. And women can feel it, and women are frustrated, and they're calling us weak and shit. And hey, I can't blame them. I mean, that's kind of what it is. We're showing up as weak creatures, right? So I'm just saying, man, I encourage y'all to be who you are, man. But to be who you are, you got to know who you are. And don't forget it. Don't let the society tell you who you are, man, because they're going to tell you you might be a man. They might tell you, hey, you ever thought about being a woman? Huh? I know you were born with male genitalia. I know. But you ever gave it a thought? You ever thought about being a woman, huh? Well, shit, you might be one. Yeah, I said it. Go ahead and be one. That's why you see the things that you see, man. A lot of people switching up and doing all kind of weird stuff, man. And I'm just saying, if you don't know who you are, man, it's only a matter of time before that shit can catch up to you, and you can end up being some whole other stuff that you are not. And this is what they want, man. These agendas are getting pushed, and we got to be strong. So, like I said, the only way to counteract this is knowing yourself, standing firm on who you are, especially as a man, because, you know, women are so quick to go along with society and just to agree with things out there in the world, even though they may not think it's right. They're more likely to agree with society. Whereas men, we naturally know how to stand up and go against that. You know, we're the ones that create civilization. And so I say all of that to say, man, at the end of the day, man, know yourself, stay firm in that, and don't sway from it. You feel me? But that's really it, man. I hope this helps. I hope this was a nice little slap up to get your stuff together if you ain't already got it together, or a nice reminder for you. But I'm going to go ahead and holler at y'all on the next one, man. I appreciate y'all watching. Leave a like, comment down below, and I'm going to holler at y'all, man. Peace.